If you read a headline about the housing market this month, you probably saw one of two things. Either the market is frozen solid and no one's buying, or it's about to crash. And I want to tell you plainly that neither of those headlines is what's actually happening on Chicago's north side. So here's a direct question I get a lot at this time of year. Is now a good time to sell in Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Bucktown, or Wicker Park? Based on the sales data I pulled from the last 7 days, the answer is yes. Homes in these neighborhoods are averaging 11 to 15 days on the market, and they're selling for 3 to 7% over list. That is not a frozen market. That's a market that's moving quickly and rewarding sellers who are prepared. Now, here's why the national conversation is so confusing right now. JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley both released reports this year pointing to something very real: mortgage rate lock-in. Roughly a third of all homeowners nationally have an interest rate at 3.5% or lower. And so they have no incentive to sell and trade up to something else at 6% interest. That's created a genuine freeze in a lot of the country. Existing home sales are the lowest they've been since 1988. And what's happening alongside that freeze is a split. Some metro areas in the Sun Belt, the Mountain West, the areas that boomed the highest during the pandemic are the ones who are seeing their prices come down. In other areas like the Midwest here and the Northeast, the prices are holding steady or they're climbing. So when someone tells you the market is frozen or the prices are crashing, they're usually talking about the national picture. And a national average tells you absolutely nothing about your own home, your block, and your neighborhood. I had a client reach out to me about a month ago. She was genuinely nervous because she had read an article about home prices dropping 40% in parts of the country. And she was concerned. She had one question: should I wait? And what I walked her through is something I want to walk you through too. The market speaks with showing activity, not with a national headline, not with what your neighbor's cousin heard on the news, with actual buyer behavior in your specific neighborhood. Because here's what I pulled for her, and here's what I'm going to share with you today. In Lincoln Park, homes are selling on an average 14 days on the market, 7% over list, with an average sale price of $1.19 million. In Lakeview, it's 11 days on the market and 4% over list. Bucktown and Logan Square, it's 15 days on the market and 3% over list. And the number that tells the real story, the average time it takes from listing to accepted offer is 8 to 9 days. And that's for the last 3 consecutive years over all of these neighborhoods. Through economic uncertainty, through rate volatility, through every scary headline that you can imagine. The demand didn't disappear. It just requires a home to be prepared and positioned correctly to capture it. So if you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the headlines to tell you when it's the right time for you to sell, I want to gently redirect you. Those headlines are describing Phoenix, Tampa, and Austin. They are not describing Lincoln Park and the other Chicago neighborhoods. Clarity comes first here, and clarity comes from local data, not national noise. Commitment comes second. Once you understand what's true for your home in your neighborhood right now. Every month I pull this exact data: showings, days on market, list to sale price ratio, contract timing for Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Bucktown, Wicker Park, and I pull it all together and I put it into a report. If you want that report sent directly to you, send me a message and I'll send it over. And if you're thinking about buying or selling sometime in the next year, or even if you're just curious, send me a message. I'm here for you. I'll always give you a straight answer. And if you like what you see, follow along. I do this report every month.